There's no way to know what a bigger IP is. How would you judge that?
I want.
Do you guys want to hang out and measure IP-ness?
Whoa! Welcome to MTZBWY with you, America's most one-of-one TCG podcast. I'm, of course, joined by the Lord Master himself, Josh.
What's up, everyone?
The Lord Master?
Well, don't worry. I'm getting to your intro right now. I am joined by the man who will tell you why not to buy Magic's hottest set, Louis DeGeorge.
I don't think that's been my take so far.
That has been your take on every other set, so I'm assuming that you won't break the proudest tradition we have on this podcast.
That is not true about Phyrexian. Will be one.
That is
or
Brothers
War.
That set.
It is not. And we're joined by the man who takes 9 hours to drive a 5-hour car ride. Welcome, George, to the podcast from a hotel. Again, you spend more time in hotels than you do in your own house.
Yeah, this is my life.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'm here for Disney. I'm here for Lorcana.
Yeah. George is going to go to Disney and beg everyone for Lorcana promos, of which I'm guessing most of the Disney employees will be like, what? What is Lorcana?
Like, here you go, sir. You want a pin? Like, yeah. Give me some Lorcana and a pin.
I don't think
Again
they're just
with the
handing
pins.
out Lorcana promos to anybody who randomly asks, George. I hate to burst your bubble, but
What am I doing here?
I enjoy bursting your bubble. They're not going to hand you a Lorcana promo.
All right, let's tell everyone what we're talking about today. We're going to be chatting about the one of one. We're finally going to get something right. We're saying that the one of one magic card will be worth at least 1K. We're going to talk about Baldur's Gate 2.0 question mark.
Now, what did I say about the intro again? I forgot that. You said that wasn't your take?
I never said that was my take. I just said we're going to talk about
Well,
it.
you didn't say that while we were recording.
We're going to talk about the slower release cycle currently for Magic than the last couple months or last couple years.
Boo the topic or boo the cycle?
Boo the cycle.
Yeah, he's got terrible takes. We're going to talk about the
Need them
alternative. We're going to talk about the alternative TCG crew and is it growing or is it just the way it is? We're going to talk about Lorcana and then we're going to talk about MetaZoo eBay toys. So
I'm excited for the indie TCG crew where the two options are you're either growing or it is what it is. Those are the two takes. Let's go.
Poo-pooing the podcast, both of you.
I'm excited. Okay, never mind. I'm not excited. Boo.
All right, let's talk about the one of one ring. How pissed are you that it's not a soul ring? Josh, go.
Not at all.
Really?
Not even a little bit.
I love that's your first question about this card, by the way.
The worst.
What a perfect Louis question that was.
How about we frame what's going on for those who don't know? Magic the Gathering and the Lord of the Rings set did a pre-release the week of the recording of this podcast, and they announced that, yes, Louis finally got something right on Kitchen Table TCG.
Cheers,
there will
baby.
be a one-of-one serialized soul ring. Yes, when you throw enough poop against the wall, some of it will stick there.
One of my biggest pet peeves is YouTubers who start out videos at the end of spoiler season like, I told you so. This is what I claimed, but here I am. Here I am telling you so.
You finally
Actually,
made it.
I didn't because I said it would be a one-of-one soul ring, so I was wrong. I suck.
So we knew that already.
Yeah.
So here's a different question, Louise. Why aren't you mad about this card? Let me ask a slightly different question here to all of you.
Yes, I'd love to answer something more fun.
Is this the most expensive TCG card ever printed?
I had this thought the other day, and there's only one thing to compare it against, right? It's the Alpha Lotus.
It's more valuable. There's a standing offer right now.
Hold on. Wouldn't the one thing to compare it be to like the Illustrator Pikachu? Wouldn't that be worth more than the Alpha Lotus? What did Logan Paul buy the? Well, he said in TCGs.
Okay, let's go non-promos. I think promos
from a
and
box.
Like from a box card you can pull.
I imagine there's like if a test print Alpha Lotus came out,
right?
Sure. I imagine that would be worth more than everything.
There was I don't remember. No way. Didn't somebody find one of those? Wasn't there a non-backed Alpha card that got sold last month or a couple months ago?
Don't know.
That I have no idea. But I can tell you I was driving home from work and I had this exact same thought. Given the opportunity, being able to pick from each of those piles. One had an Alpha Lotus, one was the one of one Soul Ring. I don't know if it's because it hasn't dropped yet. It's really hard not to pick the Lotus.
So let's go over two things. Which one would you prefer, and which is more valuable?
Okay.
They don't have to be the same thing.
So
Totally.
there is a public offer for this card at $100,000 that says $100,000, and I will match or beat anybody's offer over that. But he says, and this is what I love, he's the hero. He's the hero to all of us store owners.
No, he's not. We'll get into why he's not the hero in a minute.
He's the hero because he's saying that in order to sell it to him, you cannot release that you pulled it. You cannot say that it's been pulled. You have to keep it secret that it's pulled.
Okay, well, let's get to that in a minute because that's like I'm fine with him doing that. I think that's fine for him doing that. It doesn't change anything. We'll get that in a minute though. So like, let me go back to another question here. Is this the most valuable card ever printed? And would you rather have this or an Alpha Lotus? I know that's a different question I asked before, but like,
right. I passed it on to Louis and let him go. The one of one, right, in a community that's the size Magic is, makes it feel like, okay, mathematically it would be, but it doesn't have the history of the Lotus. So I think there's an opportunity for it to get there, but I don't think, if I had to pick one right now, I'm sticking with the Lotus being more valuable. The Alpha Lotus, the most expensive Alpha Lotus. I'm sticking with that for now.
It's definitely not more expensive than an Alpha Lotus. What's an Alpha Lotus?
You're wrong.
What's an Alpha Lotus go for right now?
A few $100,000s, my gut. A couple $100,000, $300,000.
I'll look what you guys discuss, but I think there's an iconic nature. There's history.
So let me be very clear here. I would prefer an Alpha Lotus. I think
I would definitely prefer an Alpha Lotus.
But here's the problem. This is why I'm convinced this will become the most valuable Magic card ever printed. By the way, none of this is financial advice. Go back to our previous podcast for how wrong we are about literally every topic we've ever discussed. So like, if you're like, oh geez, this, I gotta ape into this thing, good luck burning your money. Something to 1K. So the there is one of this. This is going to become a ego contest between the Whale of Whales for Magic, which is why I do think he was smart to say you can't tell anybody else I have it. It's not for the reason you think he's a genius, but I think that's the reason it's actually really smart. Is because I think if you were to say, put it on Facebook and say, hey, all of you whales with 8-figure Magic collections,
come get it.
Come get it.
Yeah.
Give me your best offer. It's a secret bid. Highest bid wins. I thought this card had a cap at 100. That's now the floor. This could easily be a $500,000 card.
So, and $500,000 is the last. Well, not the last sold, but there was a 10 Gem Mint 10 Lotus that sold in January of 2021. So we're talking peak.
So that's peak bubble.
Peak bubble. Peak TCG boom. A PSA 10. I don't know if it's PSA. I assume it's PSA based on the.
Has to be basically. I think.
PSA 10 sold for $511,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could. If this card sold for $700, I wouldn't be stunned.
It's also autographed by Chris Rush on the slab for whatever that's worth.
Oh, on the slab. Okay,
adds 0.
I think on the slab it probably adds something. I think I love autographs on the slab. I'm a big fan. If you're gonna if I had a.
If you're gonna autograph it, autograph the slab.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with something like that. I don't know.
I think this card's worth more.
I rather have the Lotus because
I would too.
I hate Lord of the Rings. So I don't want.
We're starting early this week. That's good. I appreciate that, Louis.
I don't want that. I just don't want the Lord of the Rings Magic card. I don't want that. You know what I mean?
Don't want this garbage. Get it out of here.
Well, if you're comparing it to history. Yeah, if you're comparing it to the historical. I like how we're comparing to
history. Lord of the Rings is garbage, right? There's some history there. There's some history with Lord of the Rings, I think.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I rather have the Lotus. I think you're right, though. This probably becomes. I think you could tell me a story where this becomes the most expensive sold card from a booster pack ever.
That's wild. Go ahead, Josh.
What does this do if this surpasses the graded cream of the crop Gem Mint 10 Alpha Lotus, what does this do to that market? Are people who are in the market for that going, well, if the Lord of the Rings card went for 700,000, is there going to be that ego? They're like the community is going to be divided. My Lotus should be worth more. I'm going to start asking for this.
I don't. So the only that could happen. Like we saw this in the boom with the Jordan rookies came out in their COVID boom, and like all these other cards started to go up with it. The reason I'm not convinced that will happen is there is a 0% chance in my mind that whoever buys this card doesn't have an Alpha Lotus. Like this will not be your first high-end Magic card. But the only way that's true is if this goes to a banana pants Lord of the Rings fan. If somebody has like gone to the land of the hobbitses, shout out to all of our many fans in New Zealand still, and if this go to the land of the hobbitses, and they are like, oh my god, I have to have the one of one. That's how that could happen. But like
there's an argument this card leaves the Magic community. That's a good point. There's an argument this card just leaves our community. Like the Magic collector community, it's just gone. It's not there anymore.
It's also like, listen, this will change hands, I think, once or twice. Then it will be in somebody's hands for a very long time.
Okay, let me throw.
So you're saying Rudy's going to buy it? That's your.
No, God, no.
I don't
Rudy
think so.
doesn't buy this card.
Nope,
no way.
I don't think so.
Well, it's 60% market value. What do you mean?
Rudy, put in the comment section below if you're buying the card.
Rudy's like, I'll buy it for 60,000.
I'll buy it for 60% market value right now.
I was stunned by the open offer of 100. Stunned.
You're stunned that it's low or high?
I'm stunned that that's the opening offer.
Yeah,
that's high for an opening offer.
It came quick.
Like, I was thinking, like, what would I offer on it? My gut was like 25.
Yeah, but
so I thought I could find a buyer.
What you offer on cards? We saw that last week.
Okay, I agree. I did not offer 10,000 on the one of one for Cryptic like you want to. I understand that. So, like, I understand that. And I apologize to the community for that.
So, like, here's my thought on this. What if it's not pulled? My favorite can I address something to my comment section this week? My favorite comment this week in my comment section has been, what is it? Something along the lines of what's to prevent Wizards of the Coast from even including this card in the packs? And my response is like, it doesn't cost Wizards anything to put the card into the packs.
It's also super illegal not to put it in the packs.
I think that would be a pretty big problem.
That is super illegal to have odds of something that doesn't exist in packs.
Yeah, super illegal, but it also is impossible to track because there is a less than 0% chance that this ends up in a sealed collector box somewhere, or more realistically, in a sealed bundle somewhere.
But the gift bundle that contains the collector pack is the dark horse in the race. Imagine. Now there's
the gift bundle. It's be opened up by some kid for Christmas. It's not going to know what it is.
My prediction.
And it's going to be like, it's like they're going to email the guy with $100,000 offer, like, hey man, I used it to store my gum. I couldn't find it on the MTG player website. Like, the offer still good. It smells good now. It smells like double bubble. But like, what does this do to the value for you?
So there's a real chance.
Walmart, like there's a gift bundle at Walmart. Grandma picks it up and boom. There's the most expensive Magic card ever.
I mean, we've talked about the Magic community and being, let's call it, disconnected from some of the inner workings. There's a real chance this card gets pulled, no clue what it is, and sits in a binder and shows up on Storage Wars in 2074. Like,
there's a local guy who has been doing some Pokemon stuff with me. He's been buying a bunch of Pokemon and trading in cards or whatever. And the other day he sent me a picture of Magic cards, and it's like 95% commons, because he's like, hey, I opened up this box from Walmart a couple of weeks ago before he had known our store existed, and he's like, did I get anything good? And like, that's where this card pops up, in my opinion.
The only reason I don't think that's likely is because the boxes are so expensive.
That might be true.
The collector boxes.
So what do you think's not likely that it ends up
like I have a hard time seeing this as like a whim purchase,
right?
When it's a $400 box.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's in the if it ends up in the bundles.
If it ends up in the gift bundle, all bets are off.
Yeah.
If it ends up in the gift bundle, all bets are off.
So
this could get wild.
Somebody else has been, some other conversations in the community have been that it's going to end up like the McDonald's Monopoly promo, where there was that big scandal a couple years ago where the promo card went to like an employee or something.
Not
like
the promo card, but good try. Continue.
Not promo card. The the boardwalk.
The
boardwalk.
Yeah. So like, how does that work? Do you think Wizards?
Well, they go to Backyard Breaks. I'm kidding for all you sports fans. Do not flame me. That was a joke. There's this running controversy in the sports world.
Why are you?
That this group called Backyard Breaks gets all the hot boxes.
Do they?
Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Why are you actively making us the target of different groups of people?
Let's get the
that
views,
gets
baby.
him views.
Yeah,
that gets him views.
Let's get the
Put
views.
in the comment section. Are you team Backyard Breaks or not?
I'm
tag
not.
them.
I'm not team Backyard Breaks. This is the first I've ever heard of it. I'm not team Backyard Breaks.
Oh, then I am.
So damn entertaining. They are so entertaining.
They're Backyard Breaks.
I don't think they're going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, but they are really entertaining.
Backyard Breaks for president.
But listen, I have no idea. I will say, like, that thought crossed my mind too. It's like it would be really good for WotC for this box to get opened up on a very big YouTube channel. So imagine like Rudy getting to open this up.
Yeah, like
like Kitchen Table, even bigger.
So
imagine like Kitchen Table does like a box opening and gets nothing. Then they go to Hometown TCG and he does a box opening and boom, it gets pulled immediately. Yeah. That would be great content.
I think I would freak out.
So Josh, I'm curious.
I also think you would freak out. Like,
I'm curious from Josh's perspective here, as a non-store owner who has a YouTube channel. Do you see the value in opening this to attempt to pull the 1-of-1 Soul Ring on your channel as content, as an enjoyment of opening packs? George always says people just like opening packs. Do you pay $420 for a box or $4,200 for 10 boxes to open them on your channel?
$42,000 for 100 boxes
to open them on your channel.
I was going to give you more options. Continue.
Well, tell me you don't watch my content without telling me you don't watch my content. My video today.
I spent 12 hours with my kids.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I make time. I comment for the algo. No, I don't think this is a chase card. I had a conversation with George about this morning. I actually, in my video, thanks for the prop, I mentioned your free box, and we saw something similar to Dominaria United, but not the same, where the whole idea of like Tabernacle, there's a $4,000 card in the set, but it's so rare. It's literally not in the set. Nobody opened this chasing Tabernacle.
One of us said that was going to be the case, and the other person was saying the opposite, though.
No, the other person was saying the Legends cards are exciting, but you can't. I said you can't open it to chase Tabernacle. I said that. But with this card being kind of that experience on steroids to a million, I don't think this is. You can even factor this in when you talk about the price of the box and the price of the set. It doesn't even matter.
Okay.
I'm not. No, I'm not opening boxes to chase it. Will I label a video chasing the 1-of-1? Yeah, of course.
That's all. That will be every video of Louis the next 30 days. So
there's like a desire of mine to just sell all the Magic product I own, like everything. I'm talking like my entire Commander collection. All my
not
stores,
the Pauper Elves deck.
My Pauper Elves deck.
Whoa,
all of my stores inventory for Magic from the last 5 years. I didn't have a store 5 years, but whatever. Selling everything and just buying up every single box that I can get my hands on. Like asking for like 400 boxes from Distro, and like just opening everything on the channel.
I like that your target is 400 boxes. Like that's going to make a dent.
Listen, 400 No, not to like make a dent, but to like have it for the content. 400 boxes at like our price is like $120,000+. That's
insanity.
insanity.
Or you could just buy the card when it's pulled.
That's
Or you could just buy the card when it's pulled.
Buy the singles, Louis. Buy the singles.
That's insanity.
Oh my gosh.
So let me ask you this.
Is the professor going to advise people to buy singles instead of chase this card? Just go buy the card.
If they
just go buy it.
If they don't give this to the professor for his booster box game, I don't know what they're doing. Like
there is a negative 1,000,000% chance he gets this card if
it's seeded.
Yeah. Say hi to Rudy for me. This is easy. If it's seeded, I know
Rudy don't get along.
If it's seeded, I know who it's going to.
It wouldn't go to Rudy.
Hasbro and Rudy don't get along.
Not either of them. It wouldn't go to either.
No, Rudy would get it.
No, neither.
Rudy's only got Rudy's subscribers compared to the professor's way lower.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't have beef with Rudy.
That's not true.
I feel like they might
fake beef with Rudy.
Oh, you think it's like when Louis and I drum up beef to get views? You think it's
I mean, like similar? I think it's like disagreements with Rudy. There's like beef with the professor.
Ooh. No. Okay. I mean, there is beef with the professor. I'm not saying there's not beef with the professor.
I have heard from sources before that like getting kicked out of the content creator program feels pretty bad for people.
It does.
I have heard that from reliable sources.
Yeah.
So like, I can't imagine that feels great.
Okay. So the 1/1, Josh, you don't think is adds value to the collector boxes, right?
No, I don't think it does.
How about the 3,000
there you go
non-foil 300 double rainbows, 7,000 non-foil 700 double rainbow?
Bingo.
That gives you the excitement.
So we have proof now that serialized cards in Magic the Gathering work to an extent, and this is a serialized version of what might be the most played card right now in Magic the Gathering. Most played non-land card.
Yeah,
in Magic the Gathering. So yes, this adds value to the set.
It's also reserveless artwork. Is that basically what this is? I mean, that's essentially
it sounds like
because it's I guess it's reserveless art plus text type kind of, because it's like it's not just the artwork. So I guess hypothetically they could make one with the artwork but not the elvish text. Let's hope they just don't do that.
I hope they do that. I hope they do one of that than one with the opposite.
Yeah.
I thought this was more versions of the One Ring, because I was at work when this was going on. I was working on something. I had it on the other screen. I was like, that's dumb. And then I saw it was, so I was like, oh, this makes way more sense.
Yeah. It's very confusing that the 1/1 wasn't a soul ring and all these were soul rings.
No, that's just correct.
I get it.
It's just correct. Because in Lord of the Rings, all the other rings are just rings. They're just rings. And the One Ring is the one.
Not gonna lie, I didn't know that Lord of the Rings had rings. So
they also have a lord of these rings.
So that gives you the desire to pull them. Do we know the exact pull rate? Did they do that like they did with Brothers War?
I don't think we know the pull rate, but if we do, because of both cards, the serialized version and the one that's just a limited print, which I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, we've never seen them tell how many of a normal card are going to be in a set. I don't ever recall that. We could theoretically know a collector box print run.
Yeah, we did Magic that with Brothers War.
I will say that like I was blown away by the demand of this product after spoiler season. Like,
are you sensing the future here? The spoiler season
hasn't even officially started. I don't think.
What the hell you call it? They spoiled stuff. What do you call it? It's a season.
It's preview season.
They gave us a first.
Oh my god. Okay, look, I apologize, everybody. Preview season, not spoiler season. The previews with the freaking cards in it.
With the Magic release cycle, George.
Like I got a billion people asking me for boxes all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like a billion people asking me, like they didn't care about the price. They did not care at all about the price.
They don't care yet.
Yeah, like
right now
they're willing to give credit card numbers, buddy.
So right now we're still.
I don't take money until I get boxes, but they were absolutely willing to like give credit cards, charge it now.
Right now we're still in pre-order prices are high attitude, but I don't think that we see these drop unless we have a Baldur's Gate 2.0 scenario.
Oh, good transition. Good transition.
I don't think that we see these drop much from the $400 price tag.
The collector box specifically.
Right.
The other two products, little bit of darkness on the horizon.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, there's just not like the power level is.
We don't know. Yeah.
We
Super
don't know all the
early
cards.
take. Yeah, super early take.
Can I ask a dumb question, Josh? Because I didn't get to watch the first take thing all the way through. I was like watching it, but not able to listen to it.
Of course. I just said I was working while I was on, but yeah, go ahead.
The box toppers, there's all these box toppers that are popping up, like the Great Henge. Is that in every product? Is that where is the box toppers? Where are those coming from?
No idea. No idea. I know the box topper breakdown. I also know it doesn't create because the cards in this set are going into modern legality, things of that nature. But the box toppers don't add to that. If the card that comes in your box topper wasn't already modern legal, the box topper printing doesn't make it modern legal. So I know that little wrinkle. But as far as where the box topper packs will be found, I'd assume it's pretty normal for them to do one in a draft, one in a set, 1 to 2 in a collector. That's an assumption.
I think Ikoria was one, and Zendikar Rising I think was one draft non-foil, one foil in set maybe.
I think so.
Nope.
No, it's 2 foil. No.
Zendikar Rising, all the box toppers were non-foil expeditions. The only place to get the foil expeditions was the Zendikar Rising collector.
You're right.
Interesting.
You're right.
Yeah.
I loved that set.
That, in my opinion, is the saving grace for set boxes, draft boxes in the set. You've got Great Henge spoiled already, and you've got
Ensnaring Bridge is already spoiled,
and then Wasteland. Three cards that are high tier in terms of commander playability and excitement. Really cool artwork. Like I can see the box topper version of Great Henge being a card that like makes the box like the highest value card that you pull in the box. So like I think that's an exciting thing. That artwork looks awesome too.
Lord of the Rings stuff. Like I was blown away. Like people are super hyped about this.
Yeah.
Like people like this is gonna sell well. This is gonna sell way better than I expected. This will sell very, very well. My only fear is like God, like is it gonna take some steam away from Commander Masters?
God, you do watch Hometown TCG content. Let's go, George.
It's my homepage. It's my hometown homepage.
Let's go. That is a danger for command. The scheduling for these sets is questionable. But before we go on, I want to go back and talk about box toppers. Well, do you think it's weird that the box toppers appear in what we kind of maybe thought this set had a chance to be, where it's the old card. It's a card that already exists, but it's surnamed something that fits the Lord of the Rings aesthetic, but it has the old Magic card name. It's technically a reprint. We don't see that anywhere else so far.
So we saw that in Ikoria with the...
No, I'm saying with this set. We don't see it anywhere else with this set.
I mean, I like that. Like
Me too.
I frankly don't like the name change cards. Like it's just, I don't know. I get why they do it. Like they like it makes sense, right? They need a Great Henge reprint. It doesn't make sense for them to call this card the Great Henge because it's the party tree, and I assume there's some sort of lore connected to Lord of the Rings with the party tree. Like it doesn't make sense for them to name it that way. So like I get why they do it, God. But like when
just be honest with me, are you doing this now just for the algorithm?
No. I don't like Lord of the Rings.
I'm kind of convinced you're doing this just for the comments at this point. I'll be honest with you.
No,
I'm excited to grab some of that sweet Lord of the Rings YouTube search though.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm pretty excited for that.
But when somebody plays the party tree, I'm gonna have to be like, "What is that?" And they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's the Great Henge," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, duh." You know what I mean? Like, but so like,
that only happened to you once. Like you always make a big deal that like, oh, they'll play it and I'll be like, what's that? Then they'll tell me. I'm like, oh, you've said that a couple times. That'll happen once or twice, and then you'll just get it. You'll just know. Like that's not a big deal.
No, I get it. I just don't. I'm allowed to not like it. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, I'm not saying you're not allowed to not like it. I agree, it's fine.
but I do think it's a good solution to their problem. Like I don't prefer it, but it's a good solution to their problem. So, I do like that there's box toppers in the set. I think, and like
Needed.
strong box toppers. We haven't seen like Dominaria Remastered had bad box toppers. Like the box toppers are so bad that I don't even open them when I open the box. I just give them away to somebody like at the store. Like they're horrible. There's nothing good that you can pull from them. And we saw that with, was it Crimson Val, I think? That had box toppers that were just like, they weren't good. What's up, doggy?
What up, dog? George, do box toppers move the needle for your customers? You have a very unique store here.
Yeah, like people like box toppers. People love box toppers. It's wild.
Okay.
You know, people just love box toppers, and it's like no one. Like, I'll be honest, like, I don't get it, but like,
It's one
box toppers do really well.
So far, the box toppers are like ultimate masters level box
tier,
toppers.
yeah.
And that's
like
huge.
I am blown away by this set. Like if I had not just eaten delicious, disgusting food, I would be eating an ice cold chicken finger right now. Like this set is going to move a lot of boxes, and it's going to sell them at very high prices.
Yeah, I think one of the arguments to that is that they have said that they anticipate it will be the most selling Magic set of all time.
Clearly, I mean, like, listen, that makes a lot of sense to me now. That did not make a lot of sense to me when they said it.
Which means the supply has to be that high.
Yeah.
So like, what if you don't get allocated, George? What if you ask for X number of boxes and you get X number of 300 plus?
I'm used to that now.
Yeah,
it's all right. I'm used to that now.
Like, what are you gonna put in for collector?
If you need Scarlet and Violet, DM me.
No. DM me first.
No, DM me.
Because Pokemon's Go, right, Louis?
I mean, let's still go. I just have a lot of boxes coming. I've been buying a ton of Pokemon. I've been buying the old stuff that they market TCG minus 10%.
I don't know what I'll be asking for on this. My guess is I'll go very heavy on it. Like, my guess is I'll go pretty heavy on it. I will say, like, the thing that scares me is the Commander Masters coming out so soon afterwards. Is that, like, I do wonder if people are going to say, I won't buy this because I am buying Commander Masters.
I think it would be the other way.
No, that's crazy talk.
I think if you look at every other master set ever printed, the solution is to buy singles. Like, there's no question.
That's not the way the world operates. Like Double Masters was like easily the best selling product in my source history, I bet you.
Yeah, I mean, like it sells well, but if you look at this, if you're making a decision,
I know this will shock you. My customers don't print out a spreadsheet of TCG player singles and go, "Geez, what should I buy? A pack or the EV of a pack on TCG player?"
You are so old. Everyone has phones. You don't need a spreadsheet.
They have spreadsheets on phones. I know that much. So like, yes, if you want to save money, buy singles. Congratulations, Louis is right, and the professor's right, and everybody with half a brain is right. If you want to like save money, buy singles. If you want to have fun and crack packs, you're going to buy packs. Like, this isn't that hard.
But doesn't this seem like a better have fun and crack packs experience?
We don't know anything about Commander Masters yet.
That's fair.
Well, it's a vastly more accessible have fun and crack packs experience, and that might be enough to move the needle, right? Your set boxes, which the data shows that's what people buy to crack. You know, it's always the most popular product in every release that I track. This is a more accessible product.
I think that's fair. I think that the set box for this is going to be the sleeper. I think that's going to be the big hit that people aren't talking about yet.
I'm kind of leaning with gosh, George, I hate you. I'm leaning with Louis on this one a little bit. The draft and set box are maybe dangerous. We don't know enough yet. Like it's too hard to tell, but those might be dangerous products.
No, I'll be going heavy on set as well.
I don't think the collector box can fail, but the set, the draft.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? You know, like I put my money where your mouth is, right?
Yeah. So that's why you figured it out. You got it.
So Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the history of Magic the Gathering, typically we see the strongest spoilers first, right? Like typically when you see spoiler season start, first look gives you the best. I think we saw like, I want to say we saw Liliana in Dominaria Remastered. Don't quote me.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
like I don't know how you want to qualify strongest, but yeah, I think you see the stuff that's going to get the most majority of the community the most excited. So
yeah,
that's not necessarily, it doesn't always equate to power level. But
so far we've seen the One Ring, we've seen a couple of legendary creatures, and then we've seen a land cycle, a mythic land cycle, and we've seen Mountain Doom, which is a pain land. You know, it's Radcliffe's pain land. Plus, you can tap 3 to deal 1 damage to each opponent. You can tap 7 to board wipe -2 creatures. And then we have seen the Shire, which is a legendary land. It enters
and
tap.
There's some dude that he's talking about.
That's more of a lore thing. It's not really a power thing. It's just people like the character from Lord of the Rings. But we've seen like a legendary land that enters tapped and creates food. Not in my mind. I'm asking you because I'm asking you because you are more versed in modern in the stronger formats. Is this powerful? Are we seeing powerful cards in the set so far?
No, but we knew that. I mean, we saw some interesting tech. There was the white remand that's coming out is a card that will move the needle for some people in more one-on-one 60 card formats than some others that we've seen. But the rest of what we've seen seems largely, I mean, it's largely commander based. It's not going to move the needle much in those, and it's also not going to really make a big landfall in most formats, I would think.
Mm-hmm. So that to me, I mean, this is we're kind of already here, but that to me speaks more of some of the danger of this becoming like Baldur's Gate, because we felt the same way for a long time about D&D. I mean, we had already seen like a bad D&D set, but Baldur's Gate, the excitement was there until it came out, and then everybody was like, "Oh, these cards kind of suck," and the theme's not really that great,
right?
Now I want to say very clearly though, this has serialized cards. It has a 1/1 expensive card, and it has box toppers. There is things like this can be a lower powered set like Baldur's Gate and still be a more expensive box than current Baldur's Gate. Yes? No?
But that's only in one of the 3 SKUs we're discussing. The other 2 boxes have no accessibility to the things that you say are going to save this product. There's no serialized cards.
Box toppers.
Oh, box toppers. Okay.
Which we
also don't they have access to everything but the One Ring? It's just at a much lower quantity.
Nope.
No, the serialized
the soul rings are
boxes.
The soul rings both the regular.
No, it is massive text right on it. Collector boxes.
Collector box exclusive.
So what's the 1 per pack versus 1 per box for set?
Probably box topper.
Or borderless. Your full art borderless style.
So I mean, like the collector boxes certainly have things moving the needle, but they're starting the price off at, I mean, the distro price is $120 more than Baldur's Gate collector boxes were for distro from distro. So
that's fine. I got no problem with that.
I'm curious, Josh, could you write a story of which this set tanks like Baldur's Gate?
Yeah. I could write a story where 2 of the 3 product. I can't close my eyes and envision a world where people on my side of the counter don't want the collector product. I'm pretty positive they're going to want it at most prices. And I think the fact that the people that we're marketing to for those collector products is wider, because if you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you're making your foray into Magic, you're probably buying something that you think is collectible. Mm-hmm. Right? You're going to put the money aside. You're going to do that. It's the other products that I worry about. You could tell me a story where those 2 products, especially with Commander Masters, a combination of what we talked about, the power level, and maybe the widest reaching set in Magic's history coming next, like literally next month, where we're not spending money on the draft and set box here.
Okay. I think, like, I agree with you, collector boxes. I actually think draft boxes are for store anyway, like a relatively safe thing. Like, I can imagine people are going to want to draft or play sealed or do league with this box for a long time.
Well, we also saw they're going to hard allocate pre-release kits.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that tells you all you need to know about what they expect for the set.
Yeah. So I'm bullish on this set. I am a little bit like fearful of supply still. Like, I think that's where I land, is like, I would love to do the math if we get that will be kind of something important to me, like doing the math on how many collector boxes and comparing that to, I don't remember what we came up with.
Collector boxes to 1K.
I don't remember what we came up with for Brothers War. I remember the community had a number based on the serialized cards. Like, I think that'll be a really interesting thing to evaluate. There's less serialized cards in this set than Brothers War total. Mm-hmm. You got to love that.
I think we're going to be allocated hard on collector boxes.
That's my gut based on the price.
I think
be allocated hard.
I
Which
like
also
that.
means they're going to base their allocations based off of the other boxes, I bet you.
Yeah.
So George, let me ask you this, as someone you're pretty all in on this set. If you're allocated hard on collector boxes, but they say, hey, you can get as many draft and as many set as you want, are you gonna go ham? Or are you gonna be tempered back a little bit?
Oh no, I'll go nuts on this set. Okay. This set's gonna sell.
Yeah.
And a part of it's also like, we'll get this in a minute here, but like my players are, a little hungry for some more boxes all of a sudden. I don't know what Wizards is doing over there, taking a little break from producing cards, but maybe it's time to get back to work and start making some boxes again. I don't know. Just speaking as a store owner here.
I like this. We're transitioning to the slower release. I actually like the slower release.
Yeah, of course you do. That you're like, who wouldn't love making less money? I'm with you, Louie.
Like, come on, man. You're a good content creator. You could just let the transition happen.
I disagree with your opinion on podcast transitions. That's what we're having here. I like giving people an opportunity to say, I'm going to pause the episode right now. I'm going to get some work done. I'm going to do whatever. And I'm going to come back. This is a good stopping point. And I'm going to come back to the video. I'm going to hit the share button with my friends and I send it to my friends. I'm going to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm going to go to Hometown TCG finally and subscribe to Josh.
Finally.
I like giving them an opportunity.
Oh my God.
I like giving them an opportunity to do that rather than just bulldozing into the next topic. That's my philosophy on content.
You literally change the tile with the title in it. They are aware.
If they're listening, they don't know. They don't know, man.
I like that. That was good, Louie.
They're missing George's beautiful mug.
I don't blame them for not watching. I'm not gonna lie. We are not the best looking podcast on the internet.
Not accurate.
Not
accurate. You're kind of ugly. That I agree with.
Okay, so do we like the slower release? George, you hate it. Why?
Because I like money. That seems easy to make. That seems easy to make. You know what makes money? Selling boxes. When you sold boxes, most of them, that release.
I thought that all the sets were pumping and everybody wanted everything that's coming
Everybody loved. Like, don't be wrong. Like, sales are still way up, but like, listen, man. Release is like this amazing week where like you just look and you're like, oh, like the beginning of the week is terrible because all your money goes to distro. The end of the week is amazing because it all comes back home. And it's like there's really this anxious cycle that like you've gotten in the habit of. And like, come on, Wizards, let's get back to work a little bit here, shall we? I will say I am glad they're avoiding the Pokemon set.
Yeah. Josh,
like I think like too many games released within a week or two of each other.
Yeah, that's fair. Which like yeah.
I'm flabbergasted. I went from friend of you to fan of the podcast to co-host, permanent guest, and I have been waiting since episode 1 to hear George finally say out loud, "Well, I like money." Like what is this? I like we all knew it. We're waiting for you to say it. I just like money. The release cycle. Oh,
We lost him. We finally got rid of him.
Do not.
We finally got rid of him.
The special guest walked by as a ghost. It was the One Ring. It was actually the little Hobbit.
I offended him. He left.
Did you just call your wife the little Hobbit? Maybe you need to pause and apologize real quick.
Yeah, you need to blank that camera out again. We'll be back. The only saving grace. I've been critical of Magic's release cycle in the past, and when we got the news of every product stuff for you got to learn what you like and learn what you don't. If that's where we're going, then the release cycle, it's fine. There's literally always something to talk about. I've talked about the benefits. It covers up the stink a lot faster. Like we talked about Magic 30 ad nauseum, and then the next thing happened, and we're off it. We're on to the next thing.
Shocking. The
big thing that I think we're missing here is Wizards might have got kind of lucky that the set that is in this biggest span is not a stinker. Imagine we were Dominaria United or Streets of New Capenna up to this point. That would not be great. So I think we're lucky that Phyrexia All-Will-Be-One was well done, well designed, and well received.
I was like, my customers have told me they're ready for the next box. Like part of it's just like, listen, they've gotten trained.
What did they do?
Like,
call you up? They were like, "Hey George,
hey George,
I haven't seen you for 6 months. I'm really excited for the next set."
3 times the last 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Like, George, do you think you could call up Watsy and get him to release that next box?
Like people want more box. Like part of this is like they've been, customers have been trained now to want boxes at a very rapid pace. And like when that doesn't happen, it feels like this has felt very weird to me. And I don't play the game. This has felt weird to me.
Content's weird.
Without a box.
I think there's a little bit of truth there. Like everyone wants more of the Phyrexian bundles. The complete bundle, and like that tells me that they are still excited for the set, but they also like the new product. And I kind of like how they are doing that. I almost wish that the Lord of the Rings one, instead of it being a gift bundle that doesn't have anything special, that
except for the one card.
That product had something unique to it again, that like built some excitement. I didn't like that initially with the Phyrexia All-Will-Be-One thing, but it has worked really well. Like it has been a success for this set for sure.
Yes.
And so I'm just wrong on that. Like I was just wrong on not liking that.
Imagine where the complete bundle releases at the same time. This gap feels so much bigger.
Yeah, and like it also like it takes away from collector boxes, which was my why I didn't like it, was because I felt like it took away from the collector boxes. Now, like I don't know what they did with collector boxes. I don't know if they scaled back the supply or what on them. They are holding up better than I anticipated that they would.
I have said this from the get-go. Like it was a demand problem, not a supply problem. Good sets do well, bad sets don't. Phyrexia is a good set. People want it. This isn't that hard.
Yeah, but look at Kamigawa. Like that's like what you're saying is a Chris Cox statement on the fireside chat. Look at Kamigawa. It's an amazing set, amazing foiling, amazing things, and the prices have completely tanked on it because they printed another complete oblivion of it.
Right,
6 months after release or 4 months after release. Like,
George, we got to the same path or the same point, but we took 2 different roads to get there. I said this, gosh, what was it? Last month, and Louis, you roasted me. I said Wizards is going to figure this out. They're not stupid. They know, no matter, I don't care what they tell you in any chat, they know they're overprinting product. They know they're printing too much, and they're going to correct it and figure it out. And I was laughed off this podcast. And
not me, baby. I had your back.
Sure seems like they're figuring. No, you told me they weren't overprinting.
I think they're overprinting.
Thank you.
I like the slower. I like the slower release. I think it's nice. I think like my store has enjoyed going back to the packs.
Kamigawa's $215. That's not crazy to me. That's not terrible.
Pretty low. I mean, like
Louis,
that's not bad.
Like if you're complaining about $215, you're gonna have
this
really
was a
rough
set
time
that for a while was at $275 to $300.
Yeah. I mean,
like, well, but that was probably a bit unrealistic, right? Like
yeah.
We've seen that in TCGs in the past.
Good. I'll take Not good enough for Louis, folks.
I mean, we saw the complete bundle sell at
Louis
$200.
loves it. That's the takeaway of this podcast. So. I like money. Louis loves it.
He's all in on money, baby.
I just think that that's the best set of the year last year, and selling for below what is Phyrexia right now? 220, 230? Okay, so it's selling below, like, I don't know. Like, I guess we'll see what happens with it over time, but
yeah, the second wave was too much. You're right. I mean, they were overprinting product, but the foolish take, the everyone just wants to bang on Hasbro all the time, and I get it. But like, they make all this money by not being stupid, right? Like, they might do things you don't agree with that generate more revenue and do it in ways you don't like, but they're not stupid. Like, they're just not.
That's an opinion. Okay.
Oh, stop it.
Making a lot of money.
All right. Speaking of opinions, let's talk about the alternative TCG industry. So, we love Magic. We also love alternative games.
I love everything and everyone.
I love you too,
except for two people. You know who you are.
I want to talk about the not exodus, but the number of people who you guys think move into the alternative TCG world, non-Magic, non-Pokemon, non-Yu-Gi-Oh.
Sure.
I guess my question is this: if you are involved in Magic, Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh, what makes you move into an alternative TCG in 2023 that didn't make you move there in the hype and excitement of 2021, 2020, early 2022? And is that now, is the alternative TCG universe now just that? And then it's just acquiring new customers who have never been in the TCG. Like, I've had amazing success locally with Cryptic with non-Magic players. People who have never played a TCG have learned how to play Cryptic and have been excited about that because they can get in at the ground level. Not talking financially, not talking investment. I'm talking like there's only
$100,000 Brassman Wills. Continue.
There's only 150 cards, and so they know that they can get involved in the game and they can understand. They're not playing Commander where there's 24,000 cards and different options. They can just play with the 150 cards and know what everything does. I've heard a lot of conversation about Lorcana of people saying, is this going to be a lot of people's first TCG because they love Disney, they grew up with that? Is this going to be their first TCG? So I'm talking specifically people who are involved in the space. Is there anything that's really going to pull them into alternative TCGs if they weren't already there?
We see companies trying to do it different ways, and they all seem to be not finding the success they were hoping for, would be, I think, a fair assessment so far. MetaZoo's flat out being like, I will have the world's biggest prizes. Now, I will say, I think like MetaZoo is a good example where everybody tells me Native will be a very player-focused set. So we will see what that does. We will see, he's clearly trying to shake up the meta. He is clearly trying to do something with that. I don't think huge prizes alone will get there. If the meta, if he produces cards that change the meta, keeps the game exciting, keeps the game rolling, I think that will be well. We see, Genesis has their new PvE experience, which I know Louis loves because he loves everything PvE, even though nobody else wants it but Louis, apparently.
Sure.
PvEs is...
There's actually a Commander variant that that a couple people keep asking me to try out, that I've said that I would try out, and I haven't had the time for yet. That's a PvE Commander thing that looks like a lot of fun.
So nobody wants PvE. Anything.
Is that Pat the Pauper and his buddy?
Uh-huh.
Shout out those guys. Those guys are sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what it will take to grow an indie DCG. So I'll get into it right now, I guess. If you're call George the consultant, I always assign every new client a book and 2 articles. One of the articles I assign is marketing myopia. And the article basically asks two questions. The first is, what business are you in? That is, are you defining what you're providing to the market accurately? And the second one, I think the more important one for this question is, are you selling or are you marketing? And the key distinction the author makes is selling focuses on the needs of the seller, marketing focuses on the needs of the buyer. So what niche do you think you're filling that Magic has left barren? Because that is the only way you're going to meaningfully grow the game. Like Pokemon has IP. Lorcana, if it works, which is a big if. I'm the most bullish person you'll ever meet on Lorcana. But it's still a big if. If Lorcana succeeds, it will be because they attacked Magic at their weakest point, which is their IP. I don't think, I think if you're going to be a new TCG today and you're going to try to attract either new players from Magic or even new players who don't play Magic, you have to fill a spot that Magic doesn't fill. And the problem with Magic doing 10 million sets and having 85,000 formats is they fill a lot of spaces, which is why a lot of these games have kind of struggled to really grow at the pace they want. I guess I'll just keep rolling. The one that does this the healthiest is Tanner. Because Tanner is like, what my goal is not to take down Magic. My goal is to have a dedicated community of a few thousand players producing boxes and a game that they love and I love to produce.
Yeah.
That is if you're a new TCG, you should look up to Tanner because that is 100% the right approach to new TCGs.
And the print runs then fall in line with that. And his growth of his company falls in line with that. He's keeping it to like the 8,000 to 10,000 box range at this point. Like, yeah, that's a win.
So I think the days of anybody thinking any of these games are going to take down Magic, they now look comical and now looks hilarious in hindsight. It's just not going to happen. Magic's too big, and so you have to figure out what are they not doing.
Yeah, I think that's my point in this conversation is to say I think if you were gonna walk away from Magic 30 did it. A lot of the new games that popped up in 2020, 2021 did it. That community is there. And now those games need to pull, and any new TCG that pops up needs to pull not from Magic, Pokemon, whatever, but from new players. And so from new, not involved in the TCG, which I think is really exciting. As somebody who makes TCG content, I love the idea that the number of people who are putting their eyeballs on trading card games is potentially going to grow. I think that's a really big win. I think you may even see people who learn how to, I think is great. People in my store will learn how to play Cryptic, and then in their downtime when there's not a new Cryptic set or when the meta is, boring or whatever, maybe they go over and they learn how to play Magic because the transition's really easy and they're involved in the community now. And I think that's a really big win.
You hit the nail on the head there. My opinion on this whole thing is, we experienced a big difference when a lot of these new TCGs kicked off versus right now. And that was the time that you had. You were more free to spend that time kind of how you wanted. There's a lot more people, not necessarily, stuck at home making internet communities. And when the day-to-day grind, yes, shout out to you. When the day-to-day grind of life is in the way, and there isn't any lockdowns, and not to mention the financial aspect of stimulus checks and all that jazz, you have to start reprioritizing your hobbies, and you're going to drop some hobbies. And you now have to decide, okay, I've always been a Magic fan. I had the time for these indie TCGs. That kind of goes away. What sticks? And I think what either keeps you in these indie TCG communities now or can draw you there is, like George said, you have to fill some kind of niche that your main TCG does not cover, whether it be collectability, whether it be competitive play, or whether it be the tight niche community that people do fall in love with. I think the notion that you're going to see more familiar faces, you're going to know a higher percentage of that community, can be attractive, and it can create some sticking power. The inverse of that is what you said. These new TCGs need to be targeting people who, they're new trading card game players. They haven't got, their chops wet yet. The problem there is that makes your TCG a gateway drug to the big three. There's a reason the big three are the big three, and listen, they do things well. I'm not here for the slander. Magic's the worst game ever. The resources, no, you're just wrong. It's been around for 30 years. Louis. If that's the way you feel, you're vastly incorrect, and it's getting hard to listen to. But what's going to happen is those players are going to experience that. They're going to experience some of that, and there's an opportunity for them at that point to take a look and say, I have a limited amount of time to spend. I can spend it with something that has, the proven track record, constant cycle release, or I can stay here. And I think you're going to be a gateway.
If you were to ask me for the bull case on sorcery, this would be it.
Because board games.
It's a board game community. This was the same thought with Genesis. I think Genesis has run into some other issues now, but sorcery is a board game. It's a board game with cards.
Yeah.
That's why I like to play the game. I'm not carrying the game, I'm not buying the game, but it's a board game. That's the space it attacks. And that has a far higher likelihood of success than a standard TCG.
I would say it's certainly more like a board game than Magic is, or than Cryptic is. It collects, and I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day. It collects and opens and is purchased not like a board game, which is a big distinguishment. You can't just buy it and have all the cards and have everything for it, which is kind of a turnoff for some board game people.
But the cards should be pretty darn cheap. There's 10 million boxes, and there's the foils will be expensive.
Foils are gonna be super. I did the math the other day. You have to open 39 and a half boxes. If you get every single card is different, you have to open 39 and a half boxes to get a full foil.
As a guy who does a lot of math on the channel,
so
I don't want to hear about it.
I would do so you should be able to buy a deck relatively inexpensively would be my gut.
Sure.
That's something Crypt does that well, right? You can make a non-foil deck relatively cheaply.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me for the bull case of sorcery or even Genesis, that would be it, right? It's they're not going after Magic in the Magic arena. They're going after a different market entirely.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong, and you guys, owning game stores can maybe give me some advice. I got a buddy of mine who used to do the channel with me, who's making his own card game. It's not a trading card game. It's more of a smash up, self-contained in-box. The decks are pre-constructed and stuff. But it's a really cool game. It's really neat. But I've advised him, he's like, how do I get this to market? I said, just my opinion is you need to position yourself as the parasite. You need to be something that Magic players do in their limited free time between games of Magic. I think that's the move. I think these companies need to not say, I'm going to take down Magic. I'm not going to say I'm better than Magic. I'm saying, oh, you like Magic? This is why you'll like Magic. Oh, you like Pokemon? This is why you'll also like. I think you spend a good amount of time growing as a parasite that, frankly, that company doesn't care about. They don't care that you exist or there. You do nothing to them, and you can grow your business that way.
And it's funny because that's essentially how Magic started out. That's as something to do in between D&D sessions. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of been this that's not a happy realization for me as somebody who loves NDTCGs, but no one DTCG today probably has 20,000 players. And there's that's my gut. I don't know the numbers. This is my hunch. I
know some of the numbers, and I think that's close. Yeah.
There's probably more than that on Magic Arena right now.
There is. I did a pop video about Magic Arena. There's right now.
That's a pretty big problem. It's will your local mom and pop shop take down Amazon? Maybe. I wouldn't put a lot of money on it though.
Yeah. But it's not all doom and gloom, right? There is coexistence there. Your local mom and pop shop, these indie TCGs can exist.
Oh, this is where you have to have that Tanner attitude.
Yeah.
You have to say, I'm going to be okay, making a living, doing something I love, and growing a community.
Yeah.
If you wake up every day and gauge yourself to how am I doing versus Magic? You're going to be in for a really rough life.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think we're in the golden age of TCGs, where there's just
I think that starts August 18th.
You could convince me we're on the back 9 of the golden age. We're still there, but yeah.
No, it's just starting, Josh. We need more TCGs. We don't have enough yet.
So I'm not saying we need more TCGs. I'm saying like I think that the current indie TCGs have space. Or you're right though. We could be on the back 9. I think it's getting harder for distro to start taking. We've seen this.
Listen, it's getting hard. Few games the last couple of weeks that have really had to take some hard looks in the mirror
because it's getting harder for distro to justify taking a lot of the games. And so like that makes it difficult.
So, to your point, Louis, if you're a store and you have not taken a new TCG in the craziness of 2021, you are never, ever, ever, ever going to take a new TCG.
There's no reason.
The attendees are gone. Yeah. You just do it because you love it now. Yeah. And so I remember taking new indie TCGs when there was no attendees in it. It was rough. It was brutal. Because you had to beg people to buy boxes nobody wanted. And then everybody wanted everything. And now we're back to where we started.
Yeah, we're kind of getting back to that thought of you have to really, really work to build a community. And most game stores don't want to do that.
But George, you made an interesting statement there. And do you think it is kind of reflexive? You said if you didn't take an indie TCG in the hype, you're never taking one. Yeah. If you know what TCGs are, you're a TCG enthusiast already, and you didn't jump into an indie TCG in that time, are you just done? Have you said I'm pretty much not going to go?
I think you're not going to take it. The only holdout will be Lorcana if you're going to have a kid. I have a few people who are I'll take Lorcana. I'll play Lorcana with my kid. But that's it.
But how long does that last? How long does a kid
want to
interact with the TCG?
Why not just Pokemon?
Well, again, we talked about this before. Is Lorcana a gateway?
Josh.
It's just a gateway to Pokemon.
Do not feed the troll. Do not feed the troll. Continue.
Is it just a gateway to Pokemon?
I don't think that's true. I think it's more of a gateway to Magic. And that's the answer that George should have said instead of being a jerk. I will want to
you jerk.
I will want to teach my daughter when she's a little bit older. She's 3 now, but when she's a little older, I'll want to teach her Lorcana because it plays similarly to Magic. It's got resources and whatever, and Pokemon is not a similar game to Magic. The gameplay is not conducive to it. So all right, moving on.
I don't know. This is a really interesting conversation. I like talks like that. I don't know. Where do we land? Final take. Can indie TCGs grow? Is there an opportunity? Are you going to jump in?
They can grow. It's just the boom is over.
Yeah.
Louis?
I think the take that something is going to take down Magic. I think there's a better chance that Magic takes down itself. I go back to the idea. I think most people who leave Magic go play video games.
I think they leave.
Shout out to StarCraft.
I think TCGs die before another TCG takes down Magic.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
100%. Yeah. But I think if you are a store owner and you are excited, frankly, going back to George loves money, there is money to be made as a store owner.
You love it.
There is money to be made as a store owner by carrying and creating a community based around a new TCG.
I think that's true. I think that's listen, you make fun of me and my business practices and my ability to run a business, and I've had a ton of success doing it. So if an idiot can do it, then you can do it, store owner who's listening. If I can do it, then anybody can do it. And I've had massive success with Cryptic. So anyway. Wow. Way to plug Louis' competitor live on air. I love it.
Hey man, channel sponsor,
skeleton for all your YouTube needs.
I have one competitor and it is Josh. Josh is my biggest competition. Actually, Josh actually thinks that. Josh analyzes our analytics and our views.
I don't think I'm a competitor to you. I think I'm way behind you and not nearly as big. You are the Walmart to my mom and pop store. You sit in your little ivory tower and drink from silver while I beg for YouTube scraps.
My store calls me that now because you call me that.
Yeah.
They call me the wealthy YouTuber.
Yeah, you are. Listen, hey, I just crossed 5K. There's a resurgence. I'm coming.
I'll call
baby.
you the ugly YouTuber if it helps any.
Wait,
Okay.
which one of us? That doesn't narrow it down.
No.
Let's are we doing anything Lorcana?
Yeah.
George.
Big article. So they revealed a few major things. They confirmed the August date for release. They also said in a pretty interesting way that they're going to view the cards as a way to reinterpret some of the Disney stories.
Oh, that's cool.
They said they're basically doing this to leave a lot of design space open for Lorcana. And I will say, despite what I just said about like this being an IP play, and that still being my gut, everybody who I've talked to that has had interactions with Lorcana team, they all leave the same thing. Tell me one thing. They're all about gameplay. Like they are very narrowly focused on gameplay. In a way, like I believe them because like everybody's telling me the same thing. They don't know each other. But like part of me is just like, that's great and all, but like, man, I don't know why. like, like I just want to play with the Lion King. Reinterpreting the stories, I think is a really cool play, and I think a really smart decision of theirs.
Just expand on that for those who might not know what you're talking about.
So I think the way they're interpreting it is that, view it in terms of strong and weak heroes, but they can change the storylines slightly through gameplay.
This is how they justify Mickey interacting with Gantu.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know who Gantu is, but it's on the screen right here. It's a card that's
super proud of you.
Like,
Can somebody tell me who Gantu is?
We're gonna have, the rumors that Distro's opening up pre-orders probably in a couple of weeks.
That's crazy.
That's pretty early because what's the release day? Is it August?
August?
That early? I mean, like pre-orders are open for Commander Masters. They've been open for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, that's right.
For the biggest existing TCG with a consistent release cycle and created fan base.
Like, you think Disney? You think Ravensburger's not gonna release their Disney boxes? That would surprise me. It might be 18 months late, right, Louis? That'd be all right. But like, it'll be, it doesn't matter.
No problem with it.
No, I mean, like, you'll get your Lorcana boxes in 18 languages apparently simultaneously.
What I want to know is allocations as soon as possible, and this is not going to happen.
I will say, Distro is like,
keep dreaming.
Like everybody I've talked to,
they have no
clue what to do. They're in total panic mode.
This is
everybody's asking for 1 billion boxes.
This makes the previous segment of this podcast kind of funny because like this will be the biggest influx of new
100%
TCGs probably ever. Like ever. New players in the TCG probably. No,
this doesn't count. Lorcana I've said it from it's playing outside it's playing outside the rules.
Yeah,
it is not playing by the same rules as everybody else must play by when they start a TCG. Having Disney behind you is skipping steps and cheating. You're not playing by the indie TCG rules. Those don't apply.
It would be like if you had Harry Potter behind you. Like it would be the same thing, which we've seen happen, and it wasn't successful.
All right, boo-boo.
Let's not compare Harry Potter to Disney.
Yeah,
like Harry Potter's big. It ain't Disney.
Yeah, it seems a little wild and stupid.
It's a single park in Disney.
That's a single park in Universal. They didn't make the Disney cut.
Oh, they didn't. Yeah.
Where did Harry Potter pop up in that IP list?
In your fake IP list that had Yu-Gi-Oh selling more cards than Pokemon.
In love with that IP list. It is
that is like disproven several times over.
Doesn't matter to me.
You let him have it.
Give me another list. Give me the proven list.
Give me another list of things that are unknowable.
How is it? It's not
the unknowables. I was with you, George, until something became unknowable.
There's no way to know what a bigger IP is. How would you judge that?
I want.
Do you guys want to hang out and measure IP-ness?
No, we have our intro. And we have our intro.
You always ruin it by saying that.
No, that's how they know.
Now I have to clip it out, and
I do that just so you have to do that. I want you to know that.
You want me to make the joke again, and you can mute him?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just gonna leave this all in. This is all part of it now.
Like this is gonna be what like everybody's freaking out because nobody like there were like people who do Magic want all in, people who do Pokemon want all in, people who do sports want all in. Everybody wants every box. I'm like, well, yeah, it's like
Is that another knock against Commander Masters? Not to divulge back to an earlier take, but we got
100%.
Lord of the Rings is hype and Lorcana. Commander Masters is doomed. It's doomed.
Listen, well, it could have an adverse effect.
Bingo.
Where like stores don't order as much Commander Masters because they know they're going to pay for their $20,000 Lorcana order, and so
20,000. That might be the shipping.
So then, like Commander Masters pumps because nobody has it.
I have told my store to get ready for pallets. I'm like, man, I'm going all in.
Commander Masters is the new indie TCG that will succeed.
I'm going all in. Commander Masters and Lorcana. That month for my bank account is going to be.
I can't wait. I can't.
Louis, do you want to get together and put like a ramen care package together for George?
I will need it that month.
Josh, are you going to open any Lorcana on your channel?
I don't know about on the channel. Maybe on my own personal channel, but I think I'm going to open some Lorcana. You have to, right? If you're into TCGs, you have
on my channel. I'm going to make a channel just so I can open Lorcana.
You should. George, that would be honestly the time for you to start a channel. Would be this
100, especially because you're so passionate about this.
Can it be called
May
the Lorcana be with you? Would that be all right?
I don't have a dog in this fight.
If you start a channel on it, I'm going to want it to fail just so I have to watch you suffer on your YouTube channel of it failing. Like,
as soon as when you listen to us,
0% chance a YouTube channel of me would fail. I've seen me. I'm beautiful.
Not the YouTube channel. Your channel will be successful.
Okay, good.
But like seeing you go through the sadness and documenting that, like
Lorcana failing.
Yeah, like that's good. Like that's a great movie. I'm telling you,
it's called the rerun. So like
the rise and fall of Went, the Lorcana story.
So like it'll be great. I slowly stick in madness. No, you understand? These boxes will be worth 1K.
We open 80 boxes on stream.
The fall of George, the Lorcana TCG story.
We have to do that. We have to do a Lorcana box opening on release day. No. We have to.
I was watching. Rattle. Shout out to Rattle Pokemon.
No, screw that.
Who has
Jordan, Scheming Skeleton. Will you open box of Lorcana with me on release day? Go ahead.
Rattle Pokemon has opened 2,400 packs of Evolving Skies and not hit the Moonbryon. He did a 2-hour stream the other night. And I was watching the end of it, and I was like, "Oh, I've been there. I've been that sad before on stream. It's so hard to keep streaming. It's so hard to keep going when you're that depressed and that tired." I mean, he was only 2 hours. Ours was 12, but anyway, horrible,
rough days.
All right,
rough days.
Let's move on. Let's finish this. I'm tired.
Son, I've been tired.
MetaZoo toys, eBay toys, maybe. This is a great. We're going to answer this question.
It's not toys. It's not eBay toys. It's Run English.
I'm sorry. You're the one who told us the topic for this MetaZoo segment, and you said toys, and I typed it in. So
you said eBay toys. I didn't say eBay.
You did. We were both.
I did not.
Whatever.
I said Run English.
So the question we're answering here is MetaZoo tweeted, Mike tweeted out or put in Discord. It's the same thing. Tweet and Discord is all one. He Discord message at everyone. Where is it? Where's the picture?
This is great.
It's way up there. Anyone else a huge fan of Ron English? Wonder what we have planned. ... So let's wonder what they have planned for Ron.
So should we go over who Ron English is first or no?
Yeah, I would love for you to tell me who that is.
It is either the most important or second most important indie toy maker alive today. It's a him or cause. They do super duper high end collectible toys. And I candidly, this is why, I've always said this, Mike is a remarkably dangerous CEO because this is one hell of a coup to pull off. Ron English has made some of the most iconic figures in that space in the last 50 years.
Okay. Are you looking
He's immensely important.
Are you looking at the picture?
No.
Is he the one on the left with the really cool beard, or is he the one in the middle?
Left.
Okay, good. No offense to the person in the middle, but like the beard makes him cooler.
And Mike is on the right. And like the new svelte Mike, might I add, is on the right. Like this is why Mike is so dangerous as a CEO, because he can pull this stuff off. Nobody else can pull this stuff off. I can't think of another TCG that can pull this off. And like that's wild. Like that's totally wild. Like you're gonna have a whole new set of eyeballs on MetaZoo because of this that are very, 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 very high-end collectors.
That's cool.
Very high-end collectors.
So what do you think it becomes? What is your prediction? What is the product line that we see MetaZoo launch as a result of this? What does it look like?
My favorite thing Ron English has done is like the morbidly obese characters from the cereals, where like you would love them because you're fat. Where like they have like the fat toucan from like Fruit Loops, but it's obviously not that, because it'd be IP infringement, but it's something that looks a little similar to the toucan from Fruit Loops, but he's a little fat, a little chunky. Like
I'm pulling those up.
Okay.
They're called serial killers. Is that what they're called? That's a good pun. Oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, they are fat. They do look like me.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I will.
Are they they're not ceramic, right? They're like almost like a Funko Pop type. That's cool.
I suspect we'll see. My question is, will we see those like in a version of MetaZoo boxes? Like, will you get a Mothman in a CN1 type style box? That's my gut.
So I did some research and I found this like it feels a little bit like the Pin Club boxes, where there's like minifigures, and this is where I think this is my prediction of where this lands.
So he also has huge figures too, though, right? Where you can get, I think you can get like the either blind boxes or fake blind boxes for the toys, and then you can have, big ones. I will warn everybody, his stuff is usually not inexpensive. Like, it's usually, I have some cause figurines and they were not cheap. I'll be going nuts on these. Like I'm super, like I'm not gonna, I can't imagine my store would sell these, to be honest with you, but I'll be buying some for me. I want them.
I feel like there was an announcement previous.
I can't imagine a product less likely to sell in my store, because they all have to go on like these nuclear submarines, than an enormous plastic figurine that like is worth a lot of money. Like I don't know if that's the right fit for my store, but it's the right fit for me.
Wasn't there a conversation with Mike about doing like an eBay exclusive figure? Like there was a bunch of like,
oh, Mike, don't do that to me. Don't make this eBay exclusive figure.
I wonder if that's what happens here, is that there's
no, Mike would not do that to me.
They're pretty cool though. I think this is like the type of thing, like everyone likes the plushies. I'm not a plushie fan. I know that burns you up inside, George. I don't like, my dogs get them, they chew them up, the fluff goes everywhere.
I can't keep control of my product, so I don't like them.
What's the other one? They come in the square boxes that everyone goes crazy. Yeah, how do you feel about those?
My
dogs get them. It's crazy.
I'm not like I don't collect pop figures. Like I think frankly pop figures, the pop figure thing feels a lot like Beanie Babies to me. Like it feels like a
oh my god,
a fake market.
Oh my
god.
We're
like it's like all artificial. But like
you just insulted like so many viewers.
I have this like vinyl Pokemon figure from 1998 that has been
out of box.
Yeah, because like it was, you were like Charizard, like it was fun, and like, I think that's a win. Like I think that's a win for the MetaZoo. Like I would give my daughter this. I would not give her she has stuffed animals, but like she cries because the stuffed animals get dirty and she colors on them with markers. Like I'm just not a fan of stuffed animals.
Don't like parenting. Continue, Louis.
I'm a fan. It's been a long day. I'm a fan of washable vinyl figures. I think they're cool. Like I think these have longer staying power as a collectible than a than a
So honestly, like Ron English destroyed Funko Pops for me, because I'm just like, why would I have a Funko Pop when I have like a Ron English toy?
Yeah.
Like, look at those toys he made and be like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw doing some research for this segment, which I know is a little outside the our
like that.
What we do. The Ron English toys do look like those are neat. Those are things that would look cool. They'd look cool on shelves.
Like, and I will say this, like, I hope they do the Fat Mothman. Like, I want the Fat Mothman in a pretty bad way. And if they don't call it the Louie, I don't know what we're doing here.
I accept.
I humbly accept your free advertisement, Pedizu. Thank you.
Anyway, I think it's cool. This is the type of stuff I thought we would see more of from MetaZoo. Like, we've seen a ton of skateboards. We've seen,
but these ones you can't flip it in your head.
What?
Didn't you tell me that these new ones you can't do a 180 backflip or some crazy stuff that you could never do on any skateboard if your life depended on it?
I think you're looking for kickflip, George.
Yeah.
All the same. I can do none of it, just like Louis.
I was also proven wrong. There was somebody who was very adamant that you can kickflip on a non-nose tilted or angled board. So
listen,
apparently
anyone in the human race can do a ton of things. We can't. Yeah. We can't kickflip that board.
I can kickflip a regular board.
No way, that's true.
BS.
No,
short tomorrow. YouTube short tomorrow. YouTube short tomorrow.
Do it.
I'm not doing
YouTube short tomorrow.
Do it.
I'm not.
There's private video that when you break yourself, I will make into a YouTube short. Then
I will send you a video of me kickflipping tomorrow.
You would
tomorrow.
Die
you have until the end of the day.
Okay.
You would burst into flames.
If not,
you hit the ground.
I used to skateboard a lot.
How long ago was that?
Like a long time ago, but I still have my skateboard. It's like riding a bike. You don't forget it.
Louis, I gotta teach your young bud a lesson. I used to do a lot of really cool dunks too. And that was also 30 pounds ago. That was 30 pounds ago,
That's
dude.
Different.
That's different.
That's different.
I'm not sure. It's not skateboarding.
Yeah.
That
follows.
Yeah. We need a May the Zoo be with you episode that's just jackass. A May the Zoo be with you.
We do not need that. We do not need that.
We don't.
We do.
You know, my wife is embarrassed enough about the things I say on the internet.
Okay. I'm excited about this. I wish we had more info. Like, this is like a typical thing. Like, here's something cool, and then we speculate on it.
Announcement of an announcement.
I mean, like, in his defense, like, Ron English takes time. Like, this is like in Ron English's courthouse now. Like, this is like
Daddy Ron takes his time.
Like, you don't rush brilliance.
My prediction is it ends up on eBay as an eBay exclusive.
No, Mike wouldn't do that to me.
That's how you mass market this stuff too.
I'm fine with an eBay version, but like, come on, man.
You need to be someone that is more familiar with Ron English, and if you're chasing down Ron English toys, you're probably pretty familiar with eBay.
Like, I would buy this as a part. Like, I'm a MetaZoo partner. Like, I would buy some of them as a partner, but like, this is not going to be something that sells super well in my store. Like, this is not this is something I think MetaZoo needs to do to push the brand to new levels. That's the type of thing I would expect this to end up being. So,
yeah.
Okay, cool. We done?
We're done.
This is my favorite part of the podcast. At the end, Louis goes, "Okay, so we done."
Hard transition. That's what Louis is all about.
That was great. Make sure you go subscribe to Josh's channel, finally, and then
and also be on the lookout for me and Jordan to do an 80 box opening of Lurkana in a couple months.
Go, George. What's your YouTube channel going to be named?
May the Lurkana be with you. A Magic the Gathering podcast.
Love it. And make sure you hit the like button and hit subscribe and leave some comments in the algorithm. Also,
talk about Funkos versus Lord of the Rings. Which one is Louis more wrong on?
If you hit the share button, it does a lot for the algorithm. You don't even have to share it anywhere, but just hitting the share button does more for the algorithm than commenting or liking the video. Fun fact for you.
Or actually share the video with people that you think might be interested in this kind of debauchery. What do you mean?
This is why content creation is so depressing.
What? Because some of us actually care about
because you care about how many people
of our business. Yeah.
I'm so mad at you.
Who?
Yes.
What?
Never mind. George, we're supposed you know everything about being a carny. We know everything about content.
I make a living being a carny.
Louis makes a
Some of us-
living as a YouTuber.
Some of us try to make a living as a YouTuber, George.
Try.
Some of us gave up on that dream long ago.
All right, everyone. This has gotten depressing, so we're gonna end it. Goodbye. Be kind to the people around you, and may the zoo be with you.
And also with you, Golor Connor.
Also with you.